The Fermi Paradox sounds like a potentially complicated idea, but it's not. It's actually a thought that many of us had but find it hard to articulate. Italian-American Enrico Fermi managed to do this, and as a casual quip over lunch, as the story goes. Since then, Fermi's paradox has been used to frame the debate on whether we are alone in the universe. We're going to take a look at the origins of the paradox, a deeper look into the argument for it, and what it means for alien life both for now and potentially in the future. Enrico Fermi was active in the early part of the 20th century and was a key player in the advancement of nuclear technology. Away from aliens, Fermi is most well known for developing the first ever nuclear reactor, the Chicago Pile 1. This fed into the Manhattan Project, which led to the first ever nuclear weapons, concluding dramatically in the destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the beginning of the end of World War II. If not for the US government, Fermi may not have had this blip on his impressive career. Pre-war, he received the 1938 Nobel Prize in Physics for his work on induced radioactivity by neutron bombardment and for the discovery of transuranium elements. Fermi was a pioneer in nuclear energy. Over lunch one day, Fermi was pondering the universe and life away from us. His thinking was that over the course of 10 million years, aliens should have a presence all over the galaxy. Now that might seem like a long period of time, but consider our galaxy is 10,000 million years old. If you extend this out to the whole universe, then the place should be teeming with life. But yet we only know of us so far. So essentially the question that Fermi was asking is, where is everybody? Fermi reportedly made his comments in 1950. Since then, research has been developed and papers have been published. The more that we've found out since Fermi's death in 1954, the less it makes sense that we've not had contact from other life in our universe. Building on Fermi's thoughts, Michael Hart wrote an article titled An Explanation for the Absence of Extraterrestrials on Earth in the Royal Astronomical Society (RAS) Quarterly Journal in 1975. This suggested the hypothesis that the fact that aliens haven't visited us yet as proof that there can't be any out there. Simply put, if they're not here yet, then they can't exist. As the paradox and arguments have been developed, there are several points that have been suggested to why we should have expected contact by now. The first being that if Earth exists, then there must be other planets like it. The universe is a numbers game, and the vastness of the place suggests that just from basic probability, we should expect to see others like us. There are so many galaxies just like the Milky Way with suns like our own. There should be planets orbiting these suns just like ours does. On top of this, there are many galaxies much older than ours, which would give any life on these planets a head start when it came to developing advanced technology for interstellar travel. At our current rate, we can expect to see our entire galaxy populated in millions of years, and this is constantly getting cut shorter with our exponential growth in technology. Therefore, with more time, advanced cultures should have got there by now, so we would expect to see at least a probe from them. As far as we know, this hasn't happened, and therefore this is the crux of the paradox. They should be here by now, and they're not. This has been backed up by maths to attempt to prove the paradox. First, the Drake equation. This was first proposed by radio astronomer Frank Drake in 1961. The equation calculates the number of communicating civilizations by multiplying several variables including the galaxies capable of containing life, the probability of life being intelligent, the probability of this life developing the technology, and then the time it would take to get this technology out to us. There's also the Kardashev scale, developed by Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev in 1964. The scale is a method of measuring a civilization's level of technological advancement based on the amount of energy they are able to use. It was broken down into three types. The first assumes that a civilization uses its own planet for energy, just like we do at the moment. The next type is being able to harness the energy from several planets, which is something that humans are looking into at the moment, with plans to mine the moon and beyond. The third type is to use energy from the whole galaxy, which it's assumed that more advanced cultures than our own are able to do, and that we'll be able to do in the future. If you combine these two studies, you start to get better quantifiable measurements for the Fermi paradox. The Milky Way, our galaxy, is about 10 billion years old and 100,000 light-years across. If other civilizations had spaceships that could travel at only 1% of the speed of light, the galaxy should have already been colonized 1,000 times. Yet, we've not even seen a probe. Of course, there have been many attempts to solve this puzzle, the first being the Great Filter Theory. This is essentially a counter-argument to Paradox, which looks at the likelihood of advanced cultures being capable of interstellar travel as more of a challenge rather than an obvious end. It details several hurdles that life would have to overcome to get to our stage, let alone being more advanced. But even if other cultures did overcome all of these boundaries, and probability suggests they have, there are still a few more explanations for why our friends, or foes, haven't gotten in touch yet. It could be that we're just in a dead zone in the universe where contact isn't possible. We experience that ourselves when we venture out into space, so it could be possible. We also might not be on the same frequency as other life, or their communication technology has advanced so much that we're not picking it up. There is also a theory that Type 3 life, who have mined their galaxy and are flying around the universe, are simply not bothered with our primitive forms of technology and just leave us alone. To them, we might seem like insignificant insects in a universe full of possibilities. Or they might see us as a threat. They might have been observing us, see what we do to our environment and resources, and feel like they would be exploited next. Our predatory tendencies are enough to put off any peace-loving society that could be viewing us. But in general, the thinking in the scientific community is that if there are others out there transmitting signals, we are probably doing it wrong. Maybe we don't have the technology needed to hear, receive, or decode any messages just yet. With all this being said, that still doesn't explain why we physically haven't seen anything here from another race. So, this is the Fermi Paradox, a simple thought that aliens should be amongst us, or an advanced algorithm that suggests the odds are that we should have seen something by now. Do you think there's life out there? Let us know in the comments. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Brain Impact. Thanks for watching.